Now, I'm still on a bit of a Zoids kick at the moment, and I was puzzled by this chap here, Zabre. A very cool, sort of, armoured panther-looking bloke, who I've always remembered from the back of this Zoids comic as being a blue Zoid. So, went on eBay, looked at the auctions, and saw a Zabre, only it looks like this. Now, when you compare the two side by side, the actual model is pretty much exactly the same as the image that is displayed on the back of this 80s comic. There's twin tail guns, yep. There's a back-mounted sort of artillery piece with a side piece on it, yup. Long teeth, check, all this good stuff. But even the caps are the same style of caps, which is unusual in the sense that they're blue caps on the Zabre on the magazine, but the normal sort of red Zoid grey caps on the actual model itself. And I remember that there is a little tiny comic which didn't appear in the main Zoids comic, which was like an advert for this slightly newer range of Zoids that came out towards the end of the original toy range. And this guy was definitely anti-red Zoids, as I recall. Now, I was fortunate enough to get a manual with this Zaber that I picked up, and it actually calls itself a Zaber Fang rather than just a Zaber. So, perhaps I should have picked up on that immediately and realised that actually this is not the model that I thought it was. And one dead giveaway is the fact that when I squinted down at this manual on the back, it has a website address on it. So there is no way that this is a mid-1980s toy. But it is a remarkably... it has to be, a recoloured version of this original Zabre that was coming out in the mid-1980s. It has to be. It's just far too close to be anything else. If you line them up like that, you can see just how close they are. They are clearly exactly the same kit, but they've made this one look more like a red Zoid. Now, I'm guessing that this guy is one of the ones that turned up with the, I think they were called the Republic and the Empire. So I reckon this probably comes from not even the Zoids 2 era, but something later than that, because it doesn't say Zoids 2 on it, and I think the Zoids 2 Zoids did say it. So even the logo is sort of changed somewhat over the years, as you can see. But it's a nice one to have in the sense that it is effectively exactly the same as having the blue one that I was always curious about. And I think I have a memory of seeing the blue version, this original blue version, in a store, but not buying it. And that was probably maybe the last time I actually saw a Zoid in the wild to buy in the UK. So it's just one of those curious little things that, clearly the Zaber Fang is a Zaber. It's just been recoloured with a slightly different sticker set and so on. If you can see there's definitely a sort of there's numbering up here and a sort of stick on the side, but these, assuming these are the right stickers that were applied, because I haven't applied these, clearly aren't the same stickers. So the sticker sheet is clearly changed, but the actual guns and so on themselves seem to be the same, but just slightly recoloured. I actually used this to help me piece together some of the guns that had dropped off him in transit. So it's so close that I was able to do that on that basis. So, it's fascinating how much these models got reused over time. So if you were a fan of them at any given point in time, then you can really sort of relive it with the more modern versions. Now, interestingly, he's got a black Android, and I assume that's standard. So again, that was a clue to me that this was in no way related to the original 80s Zoids era, because they all have gold or silver androids. So clearly not the same era at all. But I guess probably still old enough to be, sort of now on vintage, I guess. But it just goes to show that, it's a very clever way for Tomy to simply reuse an existing mould to reprint the same kit, but just using different coloured plastic, and lo and behold, you've got another sort of shiny new toy with a slightly different background to it that you can sell again. So yeah, fair dues to them. But it would be nice. The thing is, I have been looking on eBay for a while, and I have yet to see this blue Zoid version of Zaber. So I just don't know if it did actually exist, or because it was towards the end of the line, it was just really rare, or whether it came out as a Super 1000 Zoid. I'm not even sure about that, because if it's exactly the same as this red one, and I haven't put a battery in it yet, but this one has a battery compartment, so it's not a wind-up Zoid. It's a battery-powered Zoid. So it's a relatively small battery-powered Zoid, but it is a battery-powered Zoid nonetheless, which was quite unusual, but was probably starting to be the case towards the end of the original 80s run of the Zoid. So I just thought I'd share with you my ongoing exploration of Zoids, and I do seem to be in the habit now of getting Zoids that I never had when I was little, because I showed you Mammoth a little while ago, and I never had Mammoth. I quite liked him. Well, I say liked him, like to dislike him in the comics, but I never actually had him in real life. So and circumstances meant that I haven't ended up with a Red Horn the Terrible either, which ironically I did have. So it's like I can't get the ones I did have, but I can get the ones that I didn't have. So strange but true. So I guess this manual would probably be of some use to someone who had an older version of Zabre as well, because presumably all the instructions to actually build him are still exactly the same and valid as well. But curious thing. So yeah, so that is Zaber Fang rather than just Zaber, and I'd be interested to hear if anyone knows whether or not this Zaber, the blue one, did actually come out, or whether it was my imagination that's making me think I saw him when perhaps only I just saw him on a poster or something. It's possible. It is possible I only saw him on a poster. But let me know in the comments if you know better than I do. Cheers for now.